Okay, that only shows more of the air conditioner. There we go. All right. There's nobody here yet. No, at least I don't think it's going to be here yet. That's okay. Okay, this way. This way. This way. Oh, there are two people here. Hey there and welcome. This is Christina Suter going live. This is my first live, guys. Oh my gosh. I am so nervous. I cannot tell you. I am doing my best. But welcome. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are here to learn, because that is one of my favorite things to do, is to teach people and to learn. So thank you for that. So today, I don't know if you guys know, but I've been doing midterm rentals. I've been doing midterm rentals now for about 7 to 8 years. Let me be accurate. I started in short-term rentals, and then I moved to midterm rentals. And what I have discovered is that I really actually prefer midterm rentals. So the topic today specifically is, we're breaking down the 5 biggest advantages of midterm rentals versus short-term rentals. So I hope you guys are ready for it. My name is Christina Suter. Welcome to my live show. I'm going to teach you about midterm rentals. I've been investing for over 35 years. I might stop counting at 35 years, but I've been investing for over 35 years, and I truly, truly appreciate real estate and the advantages of real estate investing and what it brings me and the freedom it brings me. And I always encourage people to know what your why is. I always encourage you to know what your why is. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the highs on the chat stream. So appreciate it. What is your why? Take a moment. What is your why? Put it in the chat stream if you know what it is. Claim it, own it. Your why is what makes investing in real estate easier for you. It makes it faster for you to get there. It makes it just, you're drawn towards it. It's like you're magnetized towards fulfilling your why. And it makes it so much easier to just go over what might feel like a speed bump. So know your why and be grounded in that. My why is I wanted to be a quote unquote good mom. When I was little, my mom was great. She worked very hard on making sure we had shelter and making sure we had food, but she meant that she also had to sacrifice time with us. She sacrificed her peace. She lived in anxiety because she was a single mom from the time I was 2 to the time I was 9. And I wanted to not be that mom. I love that my mom took care of us, but I wanted to be able to be peaceful, present, and pick up my child on time from school. That was my why. And I really loved that. Now, let's talk a little bit about midterm rentals. Why midterm rentals are exploding in demand. Let's start with that one first. Really, it's the nomadic lifestyle. A lot of the young people in this world are really enjoying this nomadic lifestyle. So Amanda, who is a co-consultant with me in my consulting work, she has done consulting sessions from Bali. She's done consulting sessions from Barcelona. She's done consulting sessions from multiple different places. Now, she is up late at night, but it allows her, because she is a full-time investor who has earned enough money in that she now has her freedom to live this nomadic lifestyle. Whether she's going from Airbnb or midterm rental, she's using that platform in order to expand her life, being able to get more value out of it. I think that particular trend has actually expanded the amount of people who are using what used to be called executive stays. And that's kind of what a midterm rental is. It's basically an executive stay. You stay for a week, you stay longer than 7 days, longer than 30 days. You stay for a month, 2 months, 3 months. I've had 8 months, 9 months stay in my midterm rentals. And it's been very helpful because of these reasons. The nomadic lifestyle, which they like, but it also is the capacity to get more consistent income. What's the second reason why I like midterm rentals? The unique cash flow advantages of midterm rentals versus short-term rentals. Like, let's be straight up about this. First and foremost, and again, thank you guys for being on the chat. So appreciate the hellos and the waves. Great to have you here. The unique cash flow advantages of midterm rentals versus short-term rentals. Less vacancy. I have a duplex. And in the duplex, I have a midterm rental on one side and I have a short-term rental on the other side. My duplex rents every single weekend. That's great. This part, the short-term rental, is literally every single weekend. So I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, right? A very typical short-term rental, relatively popular, about 50% occupancy. That's great. But my next door unit, which is fully furnished, just like a short-term rental, I'm renting out midterm, and I have that $3,000. Actually, the movie accurate, it's 1,900 is coming in every single month. And the advantage of that coming in every single month is that I now don't have the vacancy factor. So even though I'm charging more per night, I'm making about $1,000 on the side, $1,000 to $1,200 on the side that is renting as an Airbnb versus the other side that's renting as a midterm rental. The midterm rental is bringing me that consistent $1,900 a month. So that I find very advantageous. So that's one of the just pure unique advantages of the cash flow. Next one, how midterm rentals reduce operational headaches. Okay, guys, I started in C-class buildings, multifamily in LA, you know, the kind where they throw the sofa on the front where that walkway is, or the mattress when they move out because they don't want to junk their own stuff, or they leave stuff in the apartment, or maybe tagging on the building, or, you know, the kids, they're 20-year-old kids hanging out in your parking lot, maybe selling stuff that maybe isn't the best. So that's where I started. And what I learned with long-term renters is that they have a tendency to wear the unit down because there's not what we call pride of ownership. The unusual advantage of midterm rentals is that they perceive themselves, just like a short-term rental, they perceive themselves as a guest in your house, and they treat it like they're a guest. So I'll give you a story. So this lady was in my house. She tripped on my stairs. Okay, don't sue me. Right. But she tripped on my stairs, and she called the property management company, who then called me and said, I'm so sorry, I tripped and I literally put a hole in your drywall. How can I get that fixed? Because her assumption was that she was a guest in a hotel, and it allowed her, well, it made her behavior be a little bit more thoughtful. There was less damage on the unit because she was being more thoughtful about how she lived there than I would have had with a family of 3 or 4. So that's one of the unique advantages and less operational headache of a midterm rental. The other is I can actually still get into my unit. You see, in a long-term rental, when you have people for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, by the time they're gone, there's actually a lot of damage inside the unit. But because people are turning every 2 months, 6 months, 9 months, I actually can repair and refresh the unit anytime I want to between renters. What does that mean to me? One, it always rents for more money at the end of the day because I've just refreshed it in some way, whether it's cleaning the floors, shampooing the carpets, shampooing the carpet, the sofa so it looks cleaner. So I continue to get premium rents by being able to refresh more frequently. Not necessarily a bigger make ready, doesn't necessarily cost more money, right? But I am getting higher rents. The other is I don't have the vacancy factor I talked about before. And the other is because they're staying longer, there's less churn in the unit itself in comparison to the short-term rental. So that actually leads to less operational headaches. And I honestly, my guests are happier than my tenants ever were. I mean, basically, when they first get there, they might have a series of, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this? Can I get the internet working? But once they're settled in, I rarely hear from them for several months at a time because it's freshly prepared. Things are in better condition, and their expectations are that they're staying at a hotel. They're less likely to actually damage the unit. So I feel like I have less operational headaches with midterm rentals in comparison to short-term rentals or low-grade long-term rentals. Now, the last one, I think the tenant quality and stay duration. Guest versus tenant, I already covered that one. The high cost. So the advantage of midterm rentals is that they do cost more than that long-term rental that's next door. If I had that duplex and one was a long-term rental and one was a short-term rental, or midterm rental, I'd get more money for the short-term rental, right? Or sorry, for the midterm rental. I get more money for the midterm rental because it's executive housing versus the one next door where there isn't furniture, basically. But that also means that the earner that's in that particular unit is earning more money because they're capable of affording a more expensive house or more expensive rent and all the benefits that come with a furnished unit that comes with all the dishes and plates, just like a short-term rental does. So the quality of the tenant themselves is sometimes actually better quality tenant than I would have in the same unit in the same neighborhood that is literally right next door. So it's kind of to me, it's hidden. I didn't know that was going to be the case until I got into the midterm rental, that I actually had that better quality tenant. And again, they're treating it like a guest. They're not treating it like like it's their home that they don't own. The last one, and to me, this isn't necessarily the most important, but to me, this is the cherry on top. Long-term wealth benefits of most investors don't understand. So many people are focused on cash flow, and I'm focused on cash flow. I admit, I love cash flow. I like having cash flow from my buildings. I truly do. Again, thank you guys for the waves and the highs. So appreciate it. I like having cash flow, but the advantage of being able to have less deferred maintenance, less cost, I can space out my maintenance because I'm in every 3 months, every 6 months, I'm in my unit. So my unit actually is still worth more because I'm actually keeping it in better condition, which means the asset actually continues to grow in value year upon year upon year. So my appreciation is continuing to be maximized. Now, I intend to hold my units I'm older. I'm an older investor, guys. I'm going to hold my units for 20 years, 30 years. Basically, I'm going to hold my units until my daughter inherits them. That's what's going to happen with those. And my daughter will inherit something that's actually of better quality, has had better maintenance, and has more appreciation to it because I've maintained the value of it by being able to get more access to it. All right, guys, I so appreciate you coming and listening. I appreciate all of the viewers that have shown up. Thank you, guys. I love you, and I love that you're choosing to be committed to learning what it means to be a successful real estate investor. That's why we're here. That's why we're all here, is so we can be a successful real estate investors, choosing our freedom, choosing our income, choosing to be financial leaders in our lives. The moment of choice is where you get the biggest peace, guys. Choosing your financial freedom is where peace starts. It's not when you get there. There's no reason to wait. Trust yourself to choose financial freedom, to listen to me, to listen to other YouTubers, to listen to all the education that is now available for free, which wasn't available 35 years ago when I started. Continue to be dedicated to your education and growth. That's where your peace comes from. Christina Suter, real estate investor, also real estate strategist and advisor. Look forward to seeing you guys next live episode.